Welcome to the Graveyard of Legends, a place where the veil between our world and the next wears thin. Tonight, we venture into the heart of forgotten cemeteries, places lost to time and shrouded in shadow. Prepare yourself for a journey into the unknown, where unmarked graves hold secrets whispered on the wind. We begin our descent into darkness, exploring the unsettling tales and chilling legends that cling to these hallowed grounds. These are the stories of souls lost and restless, forever bound to the earth. So dim the lights, gather close, and prepare to be drawn into the haunting mysteries of the Graveyard of Legends. Our first stop takes us deep into the backwoods, to a place known only as the Forgotten Burial Ground. Hidden amongst towering trees and choked by creeping vines, it lies abandoned and forgotten. The air here is heavy, thick with the silence of ages. Local legends say these woods were once the site of a terrible tragedy, a mass grave for victims of a plague that swept through the land centuries ago. The names of the deceased, lost to time, their final resting place left unmarked. Those who dare to venture too close speak of strange occurrences, unexplained chills, and the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Some whisper of ghostly figures glimpsed through the mist, their forms shifting and fading like smoke. One story tells of a group of teenagers who, seeking thrills, stumbled upon the burial ground one moonless night. Armed with flashlights and fueled by youthful bravado, they dared to enter the cemetery's gates. They wandered deeper and deeper, their laughter echoing through the stillness, until one by one their lights flickered and died, plunging them into absolute darkness. Panic set in, their voices echoing in the night, desperate pleas, swallowed by the oppressive silence. Only one of them would emerge from the woods that night, his clothes torn, his face a mask of terror. He spoke of unseen hands reaching out from the darkness, of whispers that chilled him to the bone. He would never fully recover from that night, forever haunted by the memory of his friends swallowed by the shadows of the forgotten burial ground. Even today, locals avoid the area, their fear passed down through generations like a dark inheritance. The forgotten burial ground stands as a stark reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, lost to the passage of time. But we press on, drawn deeper into the mysteries of this forgotten place. What other secrets lay hidden beneath the tangled undergrowth? What restless spirits linger here, trapped between this world and the next? As we delve further into the heart of the forgotten burial ground, we can't shake the feeling that we are not alone. The air grows colder, the shadows seem to twist and writhe at the edge of our vision. The silence is broken only by the sound of our own breath and the distant rustling of leaves, a sound that could easily be mistaken for whispers carried on the wind. Our journey takes us from the shadowed woods to a windswept plain, where a lone cemetery stands sentinel against the relentless march of time. This is the Phantom's Rest, a place steeped in sorrow and haunted by whispers of undying love. Legend has it that a young woman, heartbroken over the loss of her beloved, made a pact with forces beyond the grave. In exchange for one more night with her departed love, she offered her soul, binding herself to the cemetery for eternity. Now locals say that on the anniversary of her lover's death, the spectral figure of the grieving woman can be seen drifting amongst the weathered headstones, her mournful cries echoing through the night. Some believe she searches endlessly for her lost love, while others say she warns those who dare to enter the cemetery after dark of the dangers of tampering with forces beyond their understanding. One chilling tale recounts the story of a skeptical writer who, dismissive of the local legends, decided to spend the night in the cemetery, hoping to debunk the myth of the heartbroken woman. Armed with nothing but a notebook, a pen, and a thermos of coffee, he sought to prove that the stories were nothing more than folklore. As the hours ticked by and the moon climbed higher in the sky, he felt a chill creep into his bones. The wind picked up, whistling through the trees and carrying with it the faintest hint of a woman's mournful cries. He tried to ignore it, to rationalize the sounds as nothing more than the wind playing tricks on his ears. But as the night wore on, the cries grew louder, closer, until he could no longer deny the feeling that he was not alone. Suddenly a gust of wind extinguished his lantern, plunging him into darkness. He fumbled for his lighter, his heart pounding in his chest. the woman's cries seeming to swirl around him, taunting him, mocking his disbelief. When he finally managed to get his lighter to spark, he found himself staring into the sorrowful eyes of the spectral woman. Her face, pale and drawn, was etched with an eternity of grief. She reached out to him, her touch sending a wave of icy cold through his body, and whispered a warning about the dangers of seeking fame through the exploitation of true sorrow. The writer fled in terror, the woman's sorrowful cries echoing in his ears long after he had escaped the confines of the Phantom's Rest. He never wrote about his experience, his skepticism replaced with a bone-deep understanding of the power of love and loss. The Phantom's Rest serves as a chilling reminder that even in death, love can bind us, and some wounds, like those of the heart, never truly heal. Our final destination on this night of unsettling journeys brings us to the haunting of Hollow Hill, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead blurs, and the veil between worlds wears thin. This unhallowed ground sits atop a windswept hill, overlooking a town gripped by an ancient and unsettling secret. The cemetery itself is a patchwork of sunken graves and toppled headstones, a testament to the relentless passage of time and the unsettling forces at play. Legends speak of a malevolent entity, a shadowy figure said to roam the grounds at night, its eyes burning with an unholy light. Residents whisper of children who vanished without a trace, their laughter swallowed by the shadows of Hollow Hill. One particularly disturbing tale tells of a family who moved into a house bordering the cemetery, unaware of the darkness that clung to the land. They were a young couple with so much life ahead of them and a newborn baby girl, her laughter echoing through the halls of their new home. At first, everything seemed idyllic, the peace and quiet a welcome change from the hustle and bustle of city life. But as the days turned into weeks, a sense of unease settled over the family. Strange noises echoed from the attic, scratching sounds that seemed to follow them from room to room. The baby's laughter, once a source of joy, took on a disturbing, almost manic edge. The mother, her intuition sharp with worry, began to suspect that something was terribly wrong. She would find toys moving on their own, the rocking horse in the nursery swaying gently despite no one being near it. One night, as a storm raged outside, she awoke to the sound of the baby crying. Rushing to the nursery, she found the crib empty, the window wide open, the curtains billowing in the wind. Frantic, she searched the house from top to bottom, her husband by her side, their calls for their daughter swallowed by the howling wind. It was then that they noticed it. A faint trail of tiny footprints leading out of the house and towards the darkened edge of the cemetery. Driven by a desperate hope and a growing sense of dread, they followed the trail, their hearts pounding in their chests. The footprints led them to a clearing deep within the cemetery where a lone figure stood bathed in an unnatural light. It was their daughter, her eyes wide and vacant, her tiny hand clasped in the hand of a shadowy figure that seemed to melt into the darkness as they approached. From that day forward, the family was never the same. The mother, driven mad by grief and guilt, took her own life within the year, her body found at the edge of the cemetery, her eyes staring blankly towards the clearing where she had last seen her daughter. The father, broken and defeated, abandoned the town, leaving behind the whispers and shadows of Hollow Hill. To this day, the legend of the missing children continues to haunt the town, a chilling reminder that some places hold a darkness that can never be truly extinguished. As we emerge from the darkness of the graveyard of legends, we are left with a lingering sense of unease, a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows of our world. The stories we have explored tonight are just a glimpse into the vast and unsettling tapestry of human experience, tales passed down through generations, warning us of the dangers that lurk beyond the veil of our perception. Thank you for joining us on this dark journey into the heart of forgotten cemeteries and the legends that cling to them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more terrifying tales from the crypt. Stay safe, and remember, some legends are best left undisturbed, for the darkness holds a power that can consume even the bravest soul.